All right, so this is going to be another recap. This one should be a lot shorter. It was a very small trade, and pretty much the trade I took, I didn't feel too great about. The entry to me was kind of terrible. It was the middle. It was pretty much in the middle of the trend. Terrible entry. I didn't hold it for very long, and then it decided to continue on after the fact, which is fine. But I'll go over it briefly. So what I saw was on Spy after I don't know what's wrong with these candles like this. I kind of hate that. Let me change this up real quick. Looking at it after the fact, it was a terrible entry. It was in the middle of a trend, and it just overall wasn't a good trade. But I'll still recap it. I wound up making only $3 off of it. So this is what I saw. So I can see that we continue to push higher from yesterday. So that led me to believe that we were going to be bullish. It has yet to really show any kind of signs of pulling back. So another thing I saw on the longer time frame, 15-minute, was that on NQ at least, NQ, we kind of had this little channel right here, this little consolidation pre-market. So I kind of drew this zone up. And then what I noticed after a while was that NQ had come back and retested it with these two candles right here, and then also decided to consolidate around that area. So that led me to think that this was going to push to the upside at some point in time. It hadn't failed below, and all these lower wicks on these candles that, like I said, showed me that it was just kind of retesting that zone, hadn't really failed. So going back to Spy, I took wound up taking Spy just because the setup was a little bit better looking as far as it testing the zones and respecting the zones versus QQ Cube. I mean, but that's just kind of based on the zones, how I have them drawn up and stuff like that. So that's going to vary. But seeing that on NQ, I felt that ES is at least going to follow suit. So once I kind of started to see that, actually, let me back up a little bit. So I noticed, at market open, we pushed up here on SPY only to fail. We failed below this high that I had from June 16th. One thing that I noticed that I like to look out for is volume. So what I noticed here is I need to play back the video. I'll insert the clip here. And on Bookmap, what I noticed on Bookmap was as this candle is, I guess, transacting, whatever you want to call it, I noticed a real quick dip, but what I noticed was that there was either a big seller that came in real quick and it absorbed it, and that's what led to this quick sell off. Then after the fact, the what candle wound up pushing back up. So when I saw this candle, along with the volume coming in, that led me to believe that we were going to push up. I just don't know how much we're going to push up, and what's going to happen after the fact. So once again, I was alerted to this area, this candle, this volume bar. Knowing that I'm at this level, there's a level that it's testing that it could potentially break back above. I wanted to wait for the break back above and the retest. So we started to push back above it. I liked that. So I was waiting for a pullback, hoping that there was going to be a pullback. So indeed there was this candle right here. This this is where I think I got tripped up. What messed me up is I had this level drawn out right here, this bar. You can see it called price level. I had that drawn up, and that what that indicates is the top of the 5-minute opening range. I think that threw me off because if I didn't have that, things may have been a little bit different. But the fact at hand is that is there. And so what I was waiting for, I saw this and I was thinking to myself, well, heck, I see this level. I want to see that break back above and retest this level. And then for the continuation to the upside. So once again, it actually did break back above, and I got impatient on this candle right here. I had a good feeling that it was going to continue to the upside, so I didn't wait till the candle closed. But either way, opened a trade right here and sat through a little bit of consolidation. I think I wound up getting out a couple candles later. Anyways, so I just felt terrible about this entry on this candle, just kind of the way I see things playing out. I just didn't feel too good about that. So as we go on, this candle kind of pushes down, but it respects this level and holds. This candle dips back below, but closes above green, which once I see that, I feel good about it. So then we have this candle here, winds up pushing up, and I think I closed out on this candle here. I didn't like the look of what was going on because of the way this candle closed, or the way it was transacting. I'll say transacting again. So what I mean by that is this candle's pushing up and it's very widespread candle to the upside. But we have below average volume over here. I didn't have much confidence in that, in its ability to continue higher at this point in time. So I wound up closing out around I don't know, maybe it was close to the close of this candle, but it was only a $3 trade, nothing crazy, nothing to write home about. So then I see it actually respect the supply zone and push up into it, which is probably what I should have held out for. I mean, it wasn't much more to be made on that, but that's ultimately what I think I was looking for on this push up. I felt that it was going to at least hit the supply zone. So it did hit the supply zone only for it to consolidate. And then at this point, I had stepped out again. I had taken off to go do some other stuff. Coming back, I see that this candle right here came down. It looks like buyer stepped back in, thus kind of confirming to me that up move. At this point in time, I'm already out though, so I just got to sit back and watch what's going on. So then I see it just kind of consolidate just a little bit more for a few more candles, and eventually it breaks out above the supply zone and just starts to continue to slowly grind to the upside. But let's see here. That's pretty much it for the one trade that I took. Like I said, I wasn't too happy about it, so that's kind of why I just got out when I did. And I can see after the fact that it did continue to go up, kind of like I was thinking. But we can see that now with this long up move, the entry I had, like I said, I just don't feel, I didn't feel too good about that entry. It was just kind of like I said, in the middle of the trend, and I could have done better on that one. But like I said, I like reviewing these after I've taken the trade, after the day is over, or right now. It's still live. The market is still going, so I'll go ahead and review it right now. But there's always something to learn, and like I said, I can see that this volume bar right here with this candle, I think that was the better entry. Potentially. I mean, if I think this would have been pretty aggressive to enter around this area. The ultimate entry would have been this candle right here, I believe. At the close of this candle, at the open of this one. This right here is the break and retest of that 616 high, this particular level. That would have been a really good entry, and then just kind of sit back and it would have been a better position if I was going to close at this level. I just wanted to make a quick recap video about the one trade that I took for the day. Like I said, it wasn't anything big, but to me, it's a good learning lesson to be able to look back at it and see what I did, what I could have done better is what I like about recapping, looking back at what I've done for the day.